It's no surprise that police brutality has dominated the mainstream news and also independent news, just like the Young Turks. But recently, Fox News host Jeanine Pirro, who hosts a show called Justice with Judge Jeanine Pirro, wanted to comment about the police brutality cases. Michael Brown, Eric Garner, there are so many that we've been talking about on a regular basis. Here's what she had to say.
And now to the results of tonight's Insta poll. We asked, do police need to be retrained on how to be sensitive to the minority community? Overwhelming response was in favor of law enforcement. Jeff says, why is it always necessary to tiptoe around the minority community? And John says, I think criminals need to not resist arrest, whatever the community. And Larry says, no, enough is enough. The general public needs to be trained to be more sensitive to the police and show them the respect they deserve. I agree. And Jordan says, yes, those cops were racially profiling. Hey, Jordan, you don't even know what racial profiling is. That's when race is used to engage law enforcement in the minority community. But offender profiling is when an offender is ID'd by a description including his race, which is the only way to investigate some of these cases. And Ann says, sure do. I seriously doubt this man would have been treated so harsh if he were white. And you're wrong. Did you notice the African-American cop standing around?
Why does Jeanine Pirro always sound like she's a dominatrix who's trying to teach you a valuable lesson? Do you think that police brutality has anything to do with race? I will show you a lesson. Like, she's just so ridiculous in her commentary and also her delivery. But I'll tell you why she's ridiculous, okay? All you have to do is look at statistics and facts. All you have to do is look at how policies like stop and frisk in New York disproportionately affected blacks and Latinos in New York. All that they would have to do is walk on the sidewalk while being black or while being Latino, and cops, without any probable cause, could stop them and frisk them. Do you think a lot of white people got stopped and frisked in New York? Hell no. The majority of them were black, and the majority of the time, they had absolutely no weapons on them, no drugs on them, no wrongdoing. If you look at our policies when it comes to our drug laws, why is it that blacks and whites use marijuana at the same rate, but blacks are disproportionately prosecuted and convicted for marijuana offenses? I mean, if you're gonna have a conversation about racism in America, give me some fucking facts. Don't tell me what your stupid, biased audience has to say about it. But with that said, let me open it up to our panelists. Christian, make your point.
You know, this is a tough issue for me, you know, because my sister's a cop, and it just sucks. It makes me really scared for her, because with all this stuff going on in the country, it makes me scared that, you know, now she pulls somebody over, she stops somebody over for an infraction or something like that, and they kind of look at her like, oh, another racist cop, another bitch. Like, it's a really sore subject for me, because you know, I mean, I totally disagree with how minorities are being treated around the world by cops or around the country, but at the same time, my sister's a cop, so I kind of side with her because she's not like this at all. Like, she's one of the good cops. She's not out there to make people's lives difficult. She's out there to, like, protect and serve what she gets paid to do. Yeah, I mean, look, I know your sister on a personal level as well, and as someone who reports on these stories, it is difficult because my mind always wanders back to her and how she's a good person. I know other people who are cops that are great people. And that's why it's so important for cops to speak out against some of the violence that you see in these very national cases, right? Because these assholes are the ones that are giving all cops a bad name, and it sucks. There are people out there putting their lives on the line to protect us, and they're getting a bad name because of the biases, the prejudice, the racism, the really bad behavior by other cops, and it's unfortunate. Maytha.
Well, that's why I think it's more of a systemic concern and a systemic critique than it really is the personal behavior or attitude of one cop, right? Like, this is how Jeanine, out of all people, my people, she's Lebanese American, reduces it down to, at the end of her commentary, you're wrong because I saw a black cop standing and watching. Like, what does that even mean? And it's more than that. It's what you hinted to. It is the racialized drug laws, for example. Crack cocaine in some states, I know they've repealed it, carried larger sentences than cocaine. Gee, I guess why. Yeah. I can't guess why, you know? And, you know, where are cops patrolling? Cops are not patrolling that club in West Hollywood, right? They're
where
out,
a shooting took place.
Where a shooting took place. What are they doing? They're in Compton, they're in South Central, they're in places that are predominantly black and working class. And the other thing is that, Malcolm X Grassroots Movement put out a report that every 28 hours, a black person is killed extrajudicially by either law enforcement or a vigilante. And so that's stunning. I don't know if we have something even close to that with any other population. So that's something that's real. That's something that's material. And for Jeanine to go off with her ridiculous unfounded, non-factual, oh, surprise, Fox News, not factual commentary is just, it's irresponsible.
It really is. But it's not rare to see irresponsible commentary on Fox. So here's the question for this story. What's the most ignorant thing you've been told by another individual, Christian?
There's been a lot of things in my life that people just tell me, and I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. But one that sticks out in my mind was one day when I was at one of my baseball games, there was a fan. Fans are always asking for, hey, throw me a baseball. They want a souvenir or something like that. But this guy was obviously drunk, and we weren't paying him any attention because he was being a little obnoxious, and didn't give him a ball. So he just started just talking shit toward us, and he was like, oh, all you athletes are all the same. You guys are a bunch of rich assholes who think you're better than everybody else. When it comes down to it, yeah, there's some guys in the minor leagues who maybe sign out of high school for over $1 million or something like that, and they got some money, sure, maybe they can be a little prima donna-ish. But for the majority of guys playing minor league baseball, it's a struggle every day. You don't make a lot of money, especially if I was fortunate. I signed for a pretty decent signing bonus out of high school, but some of these guys signed for nothing, especially some of these guys out of the Dominican Republic, out of Venezuela. They come over here, it's a new country, they don't know the language, they don't have a lot of money. It's a struggle every day to hopefully one day make it to that level where you make very good money, and it's
people think they know. I know people think
yeah.
I'm wealthy because I'm on a show, but it's the furthest thing from the truth. Maytha, what about you?
So I've gotten a lot of interesting comments when people find out I'm Arab or I come from a Muslim background. One in particular happened when I was over here in Venice, progressive Venice/Santa Monica. I was sitting with my friend and we were joking, so we were laughing boisterously, and this guy walks by and he's like, oh, it looks like you guys are having a good time. I wish I could be a part of it. And we were like, oh God, this asshole, why is he trying to intervene? And so he ends up asking what my background is, because I was with a friend who's black, who's obviously phenotypically black. And I said, oh, I'm Arab, my parents are from Syria. And then he said, oh, but you don't wear and I was too stunned to respond to him. And my friend, thank God for her, just broke the ice with incredible commentary. And she said, oh, she doesn't wear the veil, but I do, and it's white, and it's pointy, and I gallop on a horse, and sometimes I burn crosses. And so he felt like a major idiot for coming with that assumption. And other than that, I get tons of commentary when I'm critical of the US of go back home. Which, I was like, oh, really? The hospital I was born in Covina, California, you want me to go back there?
Yeah, there's so many people that say similar things to me, oh, go back to I wasn't born in Armenia. Yeah. But, I haven't gotten this in a long time, but a lot of people are unfamiliar with, Armenia and people with an Armenian background. So I think one of the more ignorant things that I heard from someone was, after I told them that I'm Armenian, they're like, oh, that's cool. Is that the capital of Romania or something? And I'm like, wow, no, it's not. And then what do Armenians speak? They speak Armenian, but these are okay questions because it's not like we're a huge population of people here in the United States. I mean, we dominate Glendale, California, but that's pretty much it. Another thing that I always think is ignorant is when someone will ask if someone speaks Mexican. Oh, God. Mexican's not a language, okay? They speak Spanish. Anyway, but you get that kind of stuff.
You haven't gotten any Kim Kardashian comments when people find out you're...
Time to time, do you know her? But it's just a stupid question. Yeah, ignorance exists, right? But I think being willfully ignorant is worse than just being ignorant. Ignorant means you don't know something, right? And as long as you're out there trying to inform yourself, you're a good person trying to do good things, right? But I want to hear from you guys. What's the most ignorant thing someone has ever said to you? And also, what do you think about this story? I know that our own audience is divided when it comes to the issue of race and police brutality. We do love hearing your feedback, so comment in the section below, and we'll see you guys soon.